Hello, everyone. My name is Charlie Lin. I'm 15 years old, and about 10 months ago, I almost died. I know, it's a heavy thing to talk about, right? I heard it was great to start your speech with a joke about your topic, so naturally, I asked ChatGPT for some jokes about brain injury, but instead of it giving me any answer, it told me, there is absolutely nothing funny about brain injury. Did not make a joke. There is something human about surviving one, though. My story starts at the age of 8, where I was lucky enough to find both skill and passion in skiing. I eventually became a competitive skier, and then 10 months ago, I had a terrible accident. I found myself on life support, and all I can remember from that time is seeing a white void. There was no roof, no floor, nothing on my human form like hair or skin, it was just white. The only other thing in this space was a wooden park bench, just to the front and right of me. There were also two extremely unique emotions in this space, though. One was just tied to that park bench, and that was an emotion of comfort and familiarity, kind of like I was looking at my own life before me. The other emotion, though, is something I find to be truly indescribable with words, and that was an emotion of love, but not in the way we think of it consciously. I wasn't just feeling it, I was able to embody all of the love that was being poured into me from those who cared. I had suffered a stage 2 diffuse axonal traumatic brain injury and was put into a coma from a skiing accident. A diffuse axonal injury is where the wires of your brain actually tear apart as an impact shakes your brain kind of like jello in a bowl. Most of you would probably never realize that millions of people each year, just in America alone, suffer from traumatic brain injuries. And a large amount of those people face them in isolation. That can often lead to depression and other really serious mental health challenges. But with a team of care and support around you, a recovery doesn't have to be that way. I was on the Mammoth Mountain ski team. I saw skiing as my future. One moment I was doing what I loved most, and then the next I found myself waking from a 3-day coma, knowing nothing but that white space. I don't remember much of what happened because the wires of my brain were torn, and I had forgotten all those who spent the entire span of my life caring for me. To forget those and lose those you hold closest has got to be one of the hardest things that can happen. I mean, imagine seeing those you all love most right now, but even with all the memories you share and everything you've done together, they have no idea who you are. That's a loss I luckily wasn't fully conscious for, but my entire family had to grapple with. I had fully lost my memory and ability to even function. It was extremely discouraging to try to relearn how to walk or move my body. In the blink of an eye, I went from doing backflips on skis to not being able to even wiggle my toe. But with how impossible having to relearn literally everything did feel, there were a few things that changed that all for me. My dad told me, it's not about what waves life throws at you. It's about how you choose to surf them. Yeah, it actually resembles something I believed pretty far before my brain injury. And that's that there's a good and all bad. There's a duality in everything that happens. It just takes a little change of perspective to see. When I woke, the doctor said I have 6 months where my brain is most open to change or hyper-neuroplastic. What happens in this time will be extremely impactful and important on my recovery, but I was lucky. I was surrounded with friends and family who were all well-trained in the arts of transformation, and that's exactly what I was facing. My dad had actually lost his leg 9 years before my brain injury, yet it had enabled him to become so much more. And the mom of my friend who had saved my life just happens to be a 3-time Olympic medalist in marathon running and actually wrote a book on mindset and recovery. What they did with this time and what worked for me is they filled it with as much joy, nature, healthy foods, rhythm, and just repetition as they possibly could. Those were the tools that put the wires in my brain back together. They taught me that recovery is not about a return to who you were before. It's about the ability to be open for what's to come. But many who face brain injury face it in isolation. It's called an invisible injury because unless you know or have heard about it, it's often hidden. And it can make people feel a lot lesser to talk about their brain injuries. I felt that. But with how hard that was and how much I wanted to hide it, I was also able to find pretty early on that our lives are up to us. We don't live reality, we create it. And success is not about your accomplishments or your ability to function compared to someone else. It's about the ability to put in enough effort and to reach out to those you need when you need help to reach your greatest goals, which in my case were to fully recover, to pass on that emotional love, and then to also get back to skiing one day. But that emotional love is something I still carry with me and feel a great desire to pass on. So about only 2 months in my recovery, I started visiting other people in the hospitals who were facing traumatic brain injuries. To see the life and light return to their eyes and the eyes of all those who cared for them has truly brought me the closest I've ever been to that emotional love that I felt in the coma. It actually resembles something I'm pretty sure you have all heard before, and that's that the greatest gift you can give yourself is the gift of helping others in need. Yeah, that's something that my doctors actually told me. They told me that when we help someone, our brains often respond in ways that reward, connect, and that actually significantly improve your mental health. So helping others not only makes you happier, it makes you healthier at the same time. Look, we're all alive here together, and you don't know what can happen. I never would have expected that one day I would nearly die from a skiing accident. But having nearly lost it all, I only truly realized how much we take for granted and how lucky we are. Like, let me ask you all this. How many of you are thinking about the fact that you're lucky to breathe on your own without a ventilator? That's something I lost the ability to do for a while, and I now get to be grateful for. So don't focus on the negatives. I'm not saying ignore them, but look for the positive or even just growth in everything that happens. That's what brought me back to from ground zero to here with you all in the span of only 10 months. It was a little change of perspective, a lot of care, a lot of support, and just a lot of joy. This journey for me has sparked the question, where does the brain end and the mind begin? Maybe it's in that love. Oh, also, if any of you are wondering, yeah, I'm back on the slopes again. I'm skiing just in a more measured way. Thank you all.